Welcome, everyone. That's the Let's Write Secure Drupal code. Don't worry, we are not going to write it. We are going to try to figure out is it secure or not. Let me show myself a little bit. Who am I? I'm Balázs. I use the middle name of all the three. I work with Drupal for over 10 years, or it's like 12. Currently, I'm acting as a CTO of Petend and doing lots of things, such as consultation for security, and also an active member in the mentoring group, which we are going to talk also about tomorrow. I'm also a provisional member in the Drupal security team, and there is an event in Europe which is called Secure Open Source Day, which I am basically the Secos Dreamer, one of the main organizer. So I'd like to see some hands who love Drupal Camp Belarus. That's pretty cool. I didn't say to put it down, so please raise your hand, all the site builders building Drupal sites mainly. Ooh, there are a lot. And we have cats, look at that. Okay, let me start with a demo. Because when we talk about security, it's very important to understand one of the most easiest issue. Do you see that? Okay. Which we just call XSS, like cross-site scripting. We all think about XSS as a sort of stupid issue, right? Like those script tags with the alert, it just pops up, blah. Nothing serious, right? The thing is, if I just show you to make it happen, ooh, it's pretty small. So like this, with a full HTML, I just save it, there you go. Most of the people stop at this moment saying, that's XSS. That's not so serious. The thing is, whatever you can do with clicking all around the website, I can do it with code. Such as, if I see that. So I'm going to give another one. That's a bunch of code. JavaScript, who understands it? So I'm just saving it. Okay, there is still the XSS. Nothing really else happened, right? Until there is someone, like an admin, who is like so keen to see, wow, there is a great new comment somewhere. Okay, I hope that's going to be the newest one, yeah? So I'm just visiting the website, seeing that greatly written comment. I'm just visiting it. There is the XSS. Nothing else happened. Seriously? That's the same website, so I'm not cheating. That code that I just injected there exploited an issue, an XSS, and made the whole entire website in maintenance mode. It's pretty cool, isn't it? This is also XSS. The thing is, let me just remove that. Or not even remove, just let's put the site back online. Okay. And here is another thing that basically changes content on the website. Again, simply by XSS. Injecting code. So here is the node 2. I do the same. There are a bunch of code online available. Again, here comes the smart guy, turning super much into that, and basically visiting node 2. Seeing something, there is a comment, but if someone else again visits the site, oh, it's still under maintenance, great, I forgot to disable it. Anyway, basically, I just changed the content. Something really bad. Yeah, with a picture, should have been. This is Drupal 7. Don't forget Drupal 8. basically the same. So if full HTML is given, for instance, to unauthenticated user, it can be exploited. Okay. And I just save it. And there you go. Let's get back to the slides. We have many. So, the thing is, we basically just did something very nasty, such as that screen. Okay, like this. Do you see that? More or less? Okay. There's a question. Have you ever attended on any similar session before? Just let me see some hands. Okay, 1, 2, great. So the thing is, that's the number 9 times when I'm giving it, but today is a little bit special. You see the cards, we are going to use them. But if you check your bags, there has to be a small bingo card. We are going to play bingo today. But before we go there, okay, everyone is like, wow, there are some prizes, cool. But before we go there, there are some, okay, I'm giving you enough time for that. Great. I killed the show. It looks like this, okay? That's what you are all looking for, okay? Trends in security, and everyone goes crazy with the bingo and gambling and all this shit. Great. Are you done? Okay. Let's get back. So there are some trends in security, such as OWASP that turns to Open Web Application Security Project. They basically, from time to time, announce a so-called top 10, which is basically about the most occurred and most serious vulnerabilities. 5-6 years ago, in 2013, still the injection was one of the craziest, because usually injections, such as RCE, like remote code execution, attacks or targets directly the server infrastructure. Then broken authentication with some session management issues. Then we have the XSS. It was pretty occurred one. Then the rest. 2 years ago, or like 1.5 years ago, in 2017, still injections were the most serious ones, but we had some differences, such as new candidates on the top 10, like XXE, that stands for XML external entities, or also the cross-site scripting went pretty much down, security misconfiguration, and all the others that you see on the screen. But if we talk about the security misconfiguration, that's very important. The first issue that I showed you in the demo, it was an XSS, yes. But the thing is, it came from a misconfiguration because the full HTML, as we know, allows all kinds of HTML tags, was wrongly configured on the website and was given to untrusted user roles. Remember, do not do that. We have types of vulnerabilities. In Drupal, basically, not the previously shown list or in order that list is the most occurred one. Still, seriousness is pretty much the same, but almost like half of the issues that we discover as researchers stand for XSS. Then we have SQL injection, access bypass, arbitrary code execution. If you remember, last year we had a pretty big scandal. But basically, all the issues that we discovered there go to one thing: targeting your website. Make it more secure, please. The rounded tree we are going to talk about one by one. Let's start with XSS again. So it's basically a client-side vulnerability that comes from unfiltered inputs And the suggestion here is to never, ever, ever, ever trust any user input, okay? We have seen the Nemo before. In Drupal 7, basically we have 4 different types of sanitization against user inputs. Always sanitize the thing that you are not sure, or it's just a text, but you don't know where it comes from, in this order. If it has any URLs, please use check URL, because it also sanitizes bad protocols. Then going down, check plain, check markup against rich texts, and if everything goes well, still use a filter XSS. That's just great. In Drupal 8, though, we have Twig. Everyone loves Twig, right? We only have 3 different types of sanitization, such as escape from HTML and the filter and filter admin by XSS. Here comes the bingo. So the thing is, there are some rules. Let's see one by one. Everyone has a bingo card, do you? Okay, if someone misses one, I still have a few. Okay, great. If your answer will be good, I'm gonna show you a number and please mark it. But you also see green and red cards. So I am checking you. So show me the green. If the answer on the screen will be okay, the code is not vulnerable, or there are just no issues, and red if there are issues, or the sentence that I'm gonna show is just not correct. Wrong answer, no number, please. And the first who shouts bingo, we are gonna check it, wins a prize. Because I live in Belgium, that's a Belgian chocolate. Worth every euros, lots of euros. So, bingo, let's start. Here is the first code. Okay, let's talk about that. That's a custom field formatter view, Drupal 7, okay? It loops around the items and basically puts out a markup which has that nasty img tag. Don't do that real life, but let's imagine, okay? The source comes from src and the alt comes from alt. What do you think about it? Let me see some cards. Are there any vulnerabilities or not? Okay, red ones. Great. Oh, there is a green one. I'd like to know why. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then use both. That's kind of weird, but no, it's not secure because of the exclamation mark. I don't get any. Sorry. Over there and over there. Those exclamation marks are just not correct, because when you use T function with the exclamation mark as a placeholder, it will not sanitize, just throws everything out. What we should do is to use always the @ because it will always sanitize everything. Even use it twice, that's fine. First number is 12. Okay? Not many of you would be able to round all the numbers always. Okay, here comes the next. So check plain, we are gonna use here on a variable, let's call it body field, okay? Imagine the body field is something like coming from a rich text where all kinds of HTML can be used, okay? And we are just using a check plain. What do you think about it? It's Drupal 7. Red, great. Anyone else? Red. There is a green, there are more greens. Okay, let's argue, great. That's what I like, gain. Why is it green? Why is it just good using a check plain? Say it again. Mm-hmm. Are you sure? And if there is, for instance, an img tag with some JavaScript inside, will the check plane sanitize it or not? No, it will not. So it's incorrect here. Use check markup, because that will sanitize all the crap. Okay? Here comes the next number, which is 34. Please, only the ones who answered red previously. Next. Yeah, that's bingo. Great. Okay. We get the game, right? Okay. It was not so easy, huh? Okay. So if you answered well and you don't have a 34, that happens. Okay, next. It's in a TPL file again, okay? We are going to use check URL on a $URL. Let's assume it has a URL, okay? And we are just printing out an href with the check URL, the URL. Is it correct or not? Okay, there are green ones. Okay, I see they're red. Okay, it's gonna be crazy. Why red? What do you think? Why it can be not so good? Oh, come on, that's not an issue. No. Oh, seriously, again a syntax error? No, it seems correct. Yeah, it opens, closes well. A little bit you are overthinking the things. That can be a possible vulnerability, yes. Still, the thing that we are talking about here is correct because we have a URL that can have some sort of bad protocols. And the check URL will go all the way down, checking all the protocols, all the XSS stuff, in the end with filter XSS, and we are just fine. Yes, partially I agree with that point, but basically I'm just giving you a 4. Not out of 5, but just a 4. If you don't have 4, sorry again. Yeah? Okay? Let's go to Drupal 8. That's a great example. We are somewhere deep in the code, okay? Just imagine. We are, again, looping on items, asking for some stored entities, and then we are, again, playing with body field, just getting it from the content. Then, later on, we just put it out with a custom theme, and everything just returns. It's not that obvious. Focus on the $body line. So the $content, we ask the get method on the content, which is an entity type manager, and we just want to get the body field and the value of it. Is there any problem? You think so? I see some red. Okay, very good. Yeah, you are tricky, I see, because there is the green in the background. Okay, great. What do you think, what can go wrong here? Yes, exactly, it is red. Yeah, I would go for sanitization. Try to focus on security. There can be some, syntax errors. Sorry for that, but try to put that mindset, security. So the thing is here, yes, sanitization didn't happen. How it could happen in Drupal 8 with a body field? Anyone? There is an easier one. Use the process text type. And then you basically ask also for the format. So in a classic body field, what you have is always a format, like full HTML, basic, plain, whatever, right? Ask that, and with the process text, put it to output. But overall, great. 23. No more code in this round, but some sentences, okay? I'm saying Drupal 8 allows basic HTML to be used by authenticated users. Am I right or not? Okay, I see they're green, still green. No one argues with me. Awesome. That's correct. 17. If anyone has now a bingo, I'm wondering. Okay, next. I'm saying cross-site scripting is a server-side vulnerability. Am I right or am I incorrect? Okay, I see red ones. Oh, it's a server-side. Are you sure? No, it's not a server. It's a client-side. Because it happens in the browser, in the client side, okay? 2, if you have to, it doesn't work today. Next one, user input must be always sanitized. Am I correct or not? Oh yeah. Oh no. When? No. The input, if you imagine it way bigger, like not only focusing on XSS, but for instance, SQL injection. Anything that you get, anything, input coming from the user, always sanitize it. Yes, in XSS cases, sanitize it also when, or mainly focusing on sanitization when it goes to output. But you just can't trust any user inputs. So it's correct. Number is 25. And in this round, we are just done. Great job. How we can make sure our websites are protected against cross-site scripting? So basically, tests, always tests. Be it some sort of behavior-driven development during the development phase is just great. Automated tests can basically discover most of the cases when an input is vulnerable for XSS. If you just take the second and the third lines, those basically cover 95% of all cases. Because the second one basically exploits an on error parameter. Is it a parameter? No, it's attribute. So basically from there, it can be again vulnerable. Use those two. Always put it to all the inputs, execute, and if there is something that pops up, then that field is vulnerable. Also check always your filters and user roles, what is given to whom or to which role, and do not give too many options to untrusted user roles. It's always important to understand on your side, being developers, and also for the business, what it means untrusted user role. For sure, unauthenticated users like Anonymous is very much an untrusted, right? But there can be cases when you require, or your business requires a higher authentication, such as multi-factor, right? Then who just registers on the website, like on a Drupal website, if it's still allowed, do not consider those users trusted ones, okay? Let's go further. Access bypass. Basically, user can do or access something that he or she is not allowed or shouldn't be. Menu items can be defined to be accessed or denied, and there are many access systems in Drupal, 7, 8, 9 even. Node, entity, field, views, whatever you just can imagine, most probably has some sort of access systems. Let's go further, round 2. Here comes the code. Okay, Drupal 7. We are using a DB select on the node table, asking for title and node ID of all the articles, and we just throw them away as a result. Yeah? Is there any problem? Imagine we just show all the results on a simple page. Access bypass is the issue here, or can be. There, okay. Is it like you got frozen, or like, okay, you show the green. Great. Ooh, many greens. Not really, it's red. Because from there something is missing. Anyone? Especially who said red, by the way. Yeah, we can filter on the status. Is it enough in Drupal? No. Good try. No. Let's use something like node access tag. That's great. Yeah. Still, who said red gives a number, gets a number. 29. No one crosses anything. Great. I can keep the chocolate. Here comes another one. It's in a YAML file, okay? Imagine there is a path defined by a custom module saying not found, so basically a 404 page, okay? And the requirement says the access is true, so everyone can see a 404 page. Focus on 404, like, you know. Is there any problem? Green? Okay, cool. Yes, it is green. There is no problem. You are getting the number 16. Great. Almost. Let's see some sentences. All users on Drupal sites, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever, belong to at least one user role. That's what I'm saying. Is it correct or not? Yes. Change it to green. It is correct. And you are getting the number 22. Great, still no bingo. Okay, here comes the next. Restricted permissions make Drupal sites more secure by calling restrict permission method. Is it true or not? Do we know what is a restricted permission, right? Great. When you have, for instance, in Drupal 8, restrict access parameter in a YAML file that you put to a path, and you can make that path a little bit restricted. The question here is, what happens in the background? The restrict permission method is called or not? Red? Okay, I see mainly red. Great. Why? By the way, it's red. Why? There you go. Exactly. That restrict permission sounds well, it doesn't exist. So basically, just by raising attention on the permission page, that's all that restricted permissions do. So nothing happens, it's important to memorize, nothing happens in the background, only raising attention, raising awareness, okay? I'm giving you number 6. Again, almost. Drupal 8 allows users to mistype their passwords unlimited times. Am I right or not? Oh, great. Everyone. There you go. Yes. How many times I can by a standard Drupal? There is a 3, there is a 5. Yeah. But it's fine. I'm giving you number 9. Should be on the second column. If you have it. Bingo! Then shout bingo. Okay, let me check. There is a bingo. Let's applause. Congratulations. And here is your bingo card. Quite early, geez. Okay. But at least you are getting this cat. okay? It comes with the chocolate. Okay, what we can do against access bypass? Basically, visiting all node pages, trying to visit all pages that has a parameter such as a node, again using automated tests such as Behat. There are, as we saw, access limitations or access systems. Menu definitions are very important, such as the user access for permissions, so you can directly call that in your code. And as we saw, the node access as a tag can be used on any SQL queries. If we talk about SQL, here comes the madness. SQL injection. Even cats know what is that, right? 5 years ago, around, we got an issue in D7, which was a highly critical one. I guess most of us who used to work at that time already with Drupal remember we got like 5 hours, or even less, when massive attempts happened against our infrastructures. So publicly known exploits by bot or bots happened. Again, the recommendation here is to not trust any user input, as we saw, and the SQL injection itself is basically an unauthorized access to database resources. I know there is no more chocolate. Sorry, you were really fast. But here are some examples still. Is there any problem with this code? If we take it, okay, we are somehow combining an SQL query and then we use DB query on that with a placeholder for phone number, if I see it well. Can there be any issues? Okay, I see red cards. Great. Okay, what could go wrong here? Yeah, by the way, it is red because of those issues. But how, for instance, a table name can be exploited? Because usually the table names and the parameters are pretty much defined, right? The problem is when it comes from a user input, again. Because that field, and it's a real-life example from last year or the year before, vulnerability. When it happened, it was in a contrib module. So basically, either it should be written with db select or rewritten with sanitizing those values. I would say 7. And here's a 7. Okay, here's a Drupal 8 version of an SQL injection, if there is an issue. So basically, we are just calling a database, deleting from people table with that nasty stuff with a like. Ooh, massive amount of red. Great. What could go wrong? What's wrong with that get parameter? Is it the get or something else, by the way? I just marked it that part, but is it really the get, the parameter, or around the thing? What would you do differently here? Anyone? The winner, please. What would you do differently? Almost. It's escape-like in Drupal 8. Yeah, that was in Drupal 7. Okay, here is a 31. I'm just telling you a sentence. Single statement execution for SQL is present in Drupal 8 database API. Am I correct? Do we know what I'm talking about? Single statement execution. So when database API gets whatever long query, how many times it will execute it? Will it stop? I mean, Drupal 8 database API we talk about. Will it stop at the first semicolon, or will continue and execute all the things that are given? Still no cards. Okay, basically it's true. Because in Drupal 8, we got the single statements. That means anything that wants to target our databases will be just dropped. I mean, not like SQL drop, but like, yeah, all the nasty stuff after the first semicolon will be dropped 24. A highly critical Drupal 8 core update remediated an SQL injection vulnerability back in 2014, October, if I remember well. Is that correct or not? This is a green. There is a green. Okay. The thing is, Drupal 8 was released 2015. So no. That was Drupal 7. Sorry. Yeah. But nice work. What we can do, always using Drupal database APIs, try to not use please DB query. Even if you really have to, please use it always with placeholders. And during a migration to Drupal 8 or Drupal 9, you really have to forget using that madness, because in Drupal 8 it's already deprecated, and we are working hardly to totally remove it from Drupal 9. Filter parameters, check the queries in code are important. You can use that username apostrophe and 1=1 as a parameter from targeted automated tests. And basically you can also use curl for requesting parameters, such as via post. There are some more code without giving you a context. Here comes the first. It basically generates a password using empty rand, iterating 8 times. 9. No, 8. Is that correct? No, it's not correct. Why is it not correct? But there is the empty rand. It randomizes, isn't it? It's not safe. Exactly. So it should be used if we are already in Drupal random bytes, because it always asks the CPU. 8. You were really fast. Okay, the next. Sorry. Here's the permissions YAML and the routing. We are using an administer something, bypassing access control, such as like this, and using that permission later on for an admin path, let's say. Is that correct or not? Okay. I would say it's not correct. It can be, though. Because if you are thinking about custom modules, then I would say, I wouldn't recommend, but I would say, okay. But if you put it to a contrib, which can ever happen with your custom, sharing it back to Drupal core or to Drupal project, then I would definitely highlight always administer ones come with a restrict access, please. Otherwise, I will report it. Here is a last one. Administer site configuration is used for a settings form. Is that correct? You even can imagine in a contrib module. If you meet this, do we miss the restrict access here? I mean, imagine the somehow we are restricting access here. Say it again? Yeah, not here because it's routing YML, but imagine where is the permissions YML. The question is basically administer site configuration is already restricted or not? It is. Yes, very good. Okay, I just want to get back my cursor. And the very last is this one. I love this example. OWASP stands for Online Web Authentication Super Project. Is that correct? No. What it stands for, please? Not that easy, huh? Okay. So definitely it's not. It stands for Open Web Application Security Project. And here comes a very last, XXE stands for XML External Entities Vulnerability. That's a new one discovered 2015, 2016. Yes, it is correct. Okay, that's all the examples. But here are some security improvements that we got by Drupal 8. All of them are listed there. I would highly recommend to check from DrupalCon Vienna the talk given by Peter Wolonin, who is a member of the Drupal security team, because he goes through all the issues and shows why it's super great finally to remove PHP format from Drupal core, or what is an automated CSRF token protection or clickjacking protection, how it goes. Highly important. But what I would also suggest to check every Wednesday, maybe not during the night, but next day or the day after, what happened. Check the code. You can learn the most, if you are a developer, out of code. Just seeing the changes in GitLab or whatever the code is hosted, basically you can see, compare it with the advisory that we get Wednesday night, seeing how it changed, how it remediated, how it fixed the issue. But also important to know, there is, we all love them, the Drupal security team, right? Basically, they only give advisories for stable modules, no dev, no alpha, beta, Greek letters, and only for the Drupal org hosted modules. So if you have a contrib module that you host on GitHub, for instance, it will be never covered by Drupal security team. Please host it on Drupal. And also, if you are a maintainer, please be supportive. There are cases when maintainers are left or they don't follow that email address that is given, and contrib modules just get unsupported. Please, check your email address if you are a maintainer and be ready. Something will happen with your contrib. Also, whatever is done by Drupal security team, something like this. So you expect it happens on that night, something nasty, and you are still in the front of your screen trying to million times F5 the poor Drupal org infra, then it crashes. We all remember last year it happened. Please do not do that. They have a super hard work that they do, okay? Please be supportive, please be calm, and wait for the next issue that comes. But what you also can do, and that's my very last slide, is to use some tools for increasing security on your website, such as DropGuard, such as password policy contrib module, and there are many others. And also you can use PHP code sniffer for sniffing, even though it's quite old, best practices regarding security. I'm more or less done. 3 events that I want to highlight for you. That's tomorrow, okay? Come, contribute, love Drupal. I mean, these are messages, okay? I will be there and I will help first-timers. I'm leading the first-time contribution workshop in the morning and also want to see all of you contributing. Please also visit me at the booth just to subscribe, because the building has some weird security policies, and if you are just showing up there, you might not be allowed to get in. So please visit me and let's talk about contribution. What I'm also wearing, it's going to happen like in less than 1 month in Romania, Cluj-Napoca, which is this year hosting Drupal Dev Days. Go there, awesome. And there is another one, which is Secos Days, will happen end of October, just the weekend before DrupalCon Amsterdam in Sofia, Bulgaria, with lots of great roses and amazing girls. Check that. Sessions and sponsors are welcome and are already open. Are there any questions? Please, if you want, just grab a mic. You are exhausted, great. If you don't have any more questions, I mean more than 0, then I'd just like to thank you and I hope you enjoyed it. We have questions. Then there is the cat. Great.
Hello. Just one small question.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand problem with SQL injection. I know that Drupal has their own way to handle SQL queries, but probably you know why Drupal 8 doesn't use Doctrina or another ORM, because it's also open source.
I don't hear you.
Okay, my question about Doctrina or another open source ORM. Why Drupal 8 doesn't use already existed ORM?
Oh, ORM. Okay. So basically, I don't have an exact answer for that, but I think because of backward compatibilities, even though, okay, Drupal 8 canceled everything and should have brought something from Symfony, such as Doctrine, right? But it didn't happen. Maybe in Drupal 9, let's contribute on that. I guess there is one track for that. But if you have more information, please share it.
I have no right now. But how you think if Drupal 8, 9 will use Doctrina, will this feature improve security or not?
The thing is that we have database API handles SQL injections or all kinds of vulnerabilities in a different way than ORMs do, such as Doctrine or Proper or whatever. The thing is, with the single statements, I think there is no more chance to get such as that we had back in 2014, which exploited in the wild pretty fast. So in Drupal, regardless of using ORMs or not, I wouldn't say SQL injections happen that many times. And think about that. If there is a developer who writes bad code, it doesn't matter. There is an ORM, there is any API, he will just cause vulnerabilities. And these sessions are basically raising security awareness to not do that.
Okay, and one more question. Can you recommend something more than PHP code sniffer? Probably you know some tools which can improve security for project.
Yeah, I had to be a little bit faster in the end because I got the time. So basically these ones, especially I would focus on security review by simplytest.me that triggers, for instance, sniffs by PHP CS, but also if you want to be very sure about known vulnerabilities, so not like checking custom code, but contribs, are they up to date, use DropGuard or ask around. Yeah, there are not really connectors, for instance, for microservice Fortify. I'm also a security analyst, and I always, suffer with tools by automated tests and automated vulnerability assessments. Not really good tools. Cheers. Okay. I'm just keeping this.
Thanks for presentation. And the question is, could you review a little bit how Drupal security team works? How do they manage their backlog? How they organize? Maybe some useful tools they use.
Tools, I am not aware of it. And it's also important to mention I'm not a member. I'm just a provisional member of the team. So I'm basically on the way to become, hopefully once, a member. But the thing is that they have most of the issues you also can contribute. They have the security improvements tag on Drupal.org for contribs and for core as well. There are plenty of issues, usually not that serious ones, that you can contribute, and we can meet tomorrow and work together. I also have a few issues for making Drupal core more secure. Let's continue this discussion a little bit later, if you don't mind. Thank you again, everyone, and hopefully see you tomorrow.